Well, let's return now to that story we were bringing you just before the weather about the Queen's Honours List. And among those who are being honoured by the Queen is Laura Winningham. She's Chief Executive of City Harvest London. Laura was given an OBE after her charity delivered nearly 4 million meals across London, as well as to frontline workers. And Laura joins me now. Afternoon to you, Laura. Congratulations. Did you see this coming?
I didn't expect it at all. I'm so surprised and just can't believe this honour.
Tell us a little bit more about City Harvest, Laura. This wasn't set up for the pandemic, was it? It's set up before.
It was set up before. We set it up around 5 years ago, because even before the pandemic, there was a lot of hunger and need in London. The pandemic only served to raise awareness about it, the levels of hunger in London.
It's shocking, isn't it, that should exist in an advanced society like ours. How has COVID exacerbated the need for what you're doing?
The need has tripled with some of the charities to which we deliver food. We see so many more people who never needed emergency food aid before, requiring visits to food banks and other organizations giving them a nourishing meal. We think that's just going to grow in the next few weeks and months.
Has the demographic of those needing food support changed?
Yes, absolutely. A lot of the people are not, the homeless. A lot of people were working couples, housed, but they're on low incomes, and a sudden loss of a job with little savings can drive just people into the need for emergency food at the end of the month after they've spent money on rents and other utilities. They've run out of money for food. Parents are skipping meals so that their children can eat. So it is a rather dire situation.
And what about the younger demographic as well? I mean, much talk about the impact on them. Have they needed support from your charity?
Absolutely. The issue of children during lockdown at home without their school meals was a very serious issue. The school meals are often the one nourishing meal these children have in the course of their day, and it's growing. It's a very troubling statistic. In some areas of London, 47% of the children live in poverty, and that was already before the pandemic.
A lot of what you do relies on people's generosity, doesn't it? Whether it be corporations who are donating the food, the volunteers who are helping to distribute it. We saw a real sort of coming together, didn't we, when the pandemic first hit? Many people doing what they could, many people like yourself and others who've been honoured in the Queen's List. Do you worry about a fatigue creeping in the longer this pandemic goes on, and perhaps that generosity not being there in spades as it has been?
Yeah. Well, people certainly did come together during the pandemic. We had so many more volunteers than ever and great donations of food. We still need the food donations to continue, but we're really hopeful that that feeling of giving is still going to exist. I think a lot of people are still working from home and they're trying to find a purpose. They're trying, even though they're working from home, they're doing shifts at City Harvest. And yes, we don't want that fatigue to set in, but I think people have a growing sense of awareness about levels of hunger that the pandemic brought out for the first time. So we're hopeful that companies and individuals who want to volunteer, financial donors, food donors, will all come together to keep our vans rolling and keeping London's most vulnerable people fed.
OK, and I'm guessing you're not going to be going to Buckingham Palace for your honour anytime soon.
Well, I look forward to going there when it's safe to, but for now we have a bit of work to do until then.
Yeah, I certainly do. All right, really good to talk to you, and congratulations once again, Laura Winningham.
Thank you so much.